31st of December 2011, we were not only informed that we now have a roadmap, the Growth and Employment Strategy paper, which sets the objective to this decade, and that we are entering our first phase of a long march towards being an emergent country. Mr. Prime Minister, may it please you to come back with me to reflect a bit on what has been our main slogan about the objectives of Cameroon's emergence by 2035. Mr. Prime Minister, this motion was introduced to Cameroonians some years ago. It seems to me that our government, the ruling party, and all Cameroonians have totally adopted and are now propagating this notion randomly. So many questions, reflections are trickling our minds. We, and I in particular, wish that you, our Prime Minister, head of government, and main person responsible for our future, should enlighten us on the meaning of this notion. Mr. Prime Minister, could you let us understand more about this very lofty objective? Or precisely, can you give us a definition of emergence by the year 2035? 1. Whose concept is this lofty idea of 2035? Did you set up this great date and year for our country? Was it some international body that set these objectives for us? I have heard Ivory Coast, Gabon, also talk about 2035, and Equatorial Guinea talks of 2025. 2. Do you know that 2035 is in 20 years? It's just like tomorrow? 3. More importantly, Prime Minister, can you tell us the main indications that would permit us to evaluate that 2035? In other words, what do we expect in 2035? Which are the already emergent countries? Is Malaysia, Brazil, South Africa, Nigeria, etc. emerging, or are they already emergent? For us, shall we double our tar route network from 5,000 to 10,000 kilometers of tar routes? Shall we have a certain number of double-way carriers in our routes? For instance, double carrier routes from Bamenda to Yaoundé, Yaoundé to Douala, Bafoussam to Douala, Libme to Tiko to Douala, Boya to Yaoundé, Ngaoundé to Marwa, Chang to Yaoundé. Shall our railway systems or means of transport be extended to the other regions? Shall we experience some level of industrialization so that we produce a certain level of goods in Cameroon? Shall we dispose of our own currency? Shall our airtimes dispose of 50 planes or more like the Kenyans or Ethiopian Airlines, who dispose of more than 70 planes as at now and are not yet considered emerging countries? Shall we produce and consume Cameroonian products like our neighbors, such as Nigeria? Do we have some sort of intermediary elements which will permit that we achieve the objectives of this emergence by 2035? Mr. Prime Minister, I wish that we should not just take this as another slogan, as our country has been used to. Let us recall some of these slogans. Rigor and moralization, health for all by the year 2000, greater ambitions, greater achievements, vast construction site, emergency plan or program. Prime Minister, those were our worries. And Lord, then Congress.